Are you wondering what the good things and bad things are about living in Minneapolis? Well, today I'm going to talk about my top 3 things that I hate and the top 3 things that I love about living in Minneapolis and the Twin Cities. Hi, my name is Mary Schumann. I'm a realtor in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and every week I do videos about all things real estate and life in the Twin Cities. So if you are interested in learning about anything Minnesota, anything real estate, please subscribe to my channel. And then if you hit the little bell right next to it, you'll be notified every time I post a new video. All right, so my number 1 complaint is grit. What is grit, you ask? Well, grit is what Minnesotans call sand, and I have never lived in a place that is not beachy. I mean, we have lakes here, but this is not a beach community, and had more sand. So it gets tracked everywhere. Some genius at the park district or at the schools decided that all the playgrounds should have sand under the playground equipment instead of wood chips. So my daughter would come home from school every day with about a 1/4 cup of sand in each shoe, which would end up on the floor of my kitchen. Add that to the dog that walks around with her tongue on the floor, and you've got it's like a sandpaper amalgam on the tile. The number 2 thing is actually kind of a grit corollary, and you'll see why in a minute. We moved here thinking a place that was known for snowfall and cold would certainly keep their roads cleared, but boy were we surprised. At least if you live in Minneapolis, they don't seem to be very on top of it. I mean, it's kind of like a bit of a lackadaisical attitude, if you will. They may get to it, they may not, but meanwhile, they'll pour grit on it. So the alleys, the streets, more sand. The inside of my car, not pretty. Okay, and my last thing is actually also to do with the roads. And again, I'm wondering, did they let the interns in the civil engineering department handle this? There are no real merge lanes when it comes to entering and exiting a clover leaf on the freeway. So it's a terrifying experience, especially if there's a lot of traffic. There's a really small length of street in which you get to negotiate getting off and other people get to negotiate getting on the same freeway. So hold on to your hat, wear a seatbelt, grit your teeth, more grit. On to more pleasant things. All right, so number 1, it's balanced. I have lived in small towns and large cities, and I wanted to live in a place that had a good combination of both. I want access to public transportation if I need it, or good restaurants. I want to be able to see shows and artists that come to town because it's a big enough place. Usually I really like to be either in or out, so in the city or out in the country. But if you're not like that and you want to live in the suburbs, the great thing is that while Minneapolis is a big city, it's also accessible even from the suburbs. So if you're living in the burbs and you want to get downtown, I mean, you're talking 20 minutes. There's no reason not to enjoy the things that the city has to offer and then go back to wherever you live and enjoy that as well. So number 2 on my list of loves is actually very related to living in the city, but I know the suburbs are similar. There are so many bike trails here. There's shows at Lake Harriet every night during the summer, so if you just want to catch some music and have dinner with your family, you can ride up there and enjoy that. There are a multitude of lakes and bike paths within Minneapolis, so if Lake Harriet's not your thing, head on over to Minnehaha Falls and have some food at Sea Salt and bike around over there. It's just really nice to have that available. And the last thing is that there are 4 true seasons here, and people in Minnesota really seem to love to be outside. So if there's something you want to do, spring, summer, fall, or winter, it's available. Nobody's trapped in the house just because it's winter here. We take full advantage of it every season. Bonus love is that I get to see bald eagles just about every day. If you look up, you're probably going to see one. And they are simply awe-inspiring. Nowhere that I've lived before have I had the privilege of seeing these birds just out in the wild all the time. And it's kind of a weird thing to say I love, but there it is. I'm weird. That's all I have for today. So I hope you enjoyed those 3 pros and 3 cons of living in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. If you have questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know if there's something you're curious about and I can look into doing a video on it. Thanks so much for watching.